Hey, everybody out there, Daver here, and welcome to the show. Welcome, Chad. Welcome, Chandler.
Hi, guys.
What's good? Hey, no, none of that on this episode. It was
I
old
know.
school Jericho.
I heard Judas. It was crazy. I forgot about that song.
The little bit of the bubbly craze.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. Do you know the origin of that, Chandler?
It was like a backstage promo, right? And he had some champagne, and he went, "It's a little bit of the bubbly," or something like that.
Yeah, wasn't that when he won the championship,
Yeah.
Chad? And there was like just a
they were in
tiny
the
little tray
back.
of.
Yeah, he was like, he just walked up and he, a little bit of the bubbly, and started celebrating.
That's pretty
No one
funny.
was with him celebrating.
The more
that's
things
funny.
change, the more they stay the same.
What are you talking about? He's got Big Bill and Brian Keith. Of course they're going to be celebrating with their buddy.
Big Bill Hager.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to be reviewing the first ever episode of AEW Dynamite that we can now view on Max every Dynamite for the year of 2019, every pay-per-view. And they even have the first Fight for the Fallen and the first, what's the other one that's kind of like that?
Fighter Fest.
Fighter Fest. Yeah, those were freaking good. Like those are like 2 hours long or 2.5 hours. Remember those?
Yeah, it's pretty. They were pretty good.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to watch those at some point. But yeah, this
like I was
was
saying off camera. I enjoyed this episode so much, I'd let it roll into the next one.
Have the next
Yeah.
one start. What happened?
I just because they teased Buck's private party, and we all know how that went. And I was kind of relevant to now, so I was interested, so I let it keep going. And Pac was on commentary, like it was really good.
what?
Yeah. What it was so if you have time, watch it, even if it's not to review on it, because it was actually pretty effing good.
Okay.
Wow.
Funny enough, both Pac and Private Party are featured on Dynamite this week.
Right?
Wow, neat. I do at one point like to find the actual roster of the first Dynamite, like archived or something, and just compare to who's there now. I think that'd be freaking awesome. And some funny people that aren't on it anymore. Be like, what was that guy that teamed with Kip Sabian from England? They figured out he did some stuff that he shouldn't have. Man, what was his name?
I know who you're talking about.
Is that Jimmy Havoc?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I was really into him.
Yeah.
When he was on the roster. But apparently he's a shitty human being.
Yeah. Even just like it was funny, just like when Jake Hager came in towards the end, and I was like, oh my god, I forgot he was in the company, and it wasn't that long ago that he left. I really liked that hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been dogging AEW lately too, Jake Hager.
Yeah, didn't he call Tony Kanekami or something like that? Then we got Ray Fenix and Guantanamo Bay. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's too much.
So that's an Eric Bischoff thumbnail. He's so funny. Such a funny guy.
Yeah. But yeah, this was really fun. Like it was a packed arena in Washington, D.C., sold out. Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, Excalibur on the broadcast team. JR was sharp.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Yeah, and I feel like Excalibur hadn't like jumped the shark yet. Like he was a little more chill. Like he was definitely a lot more listenable than he is nowadays.
And Tony Schiavone was like actually calling out things that were happening in the match and being like, wow, he needs to get up and get out of that move or else he'll take more damage on his leg. And it's like, whoa, he's talking going on and not just saying it's an AEW moment.
Yeah. Wow, this is great, guys.
What a great match, guys. What a wow. There were like it's one of those things where with the beauty of hindsight and never seeing AEW at this time, there were bits of it that were really funny, like Brandon Cutler against that nobody MJF. And then it was like, holy crap, MJF's been doing the same thing for 5 years. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And I don't know, I kind of enjoyed the graphic package too, just like that. Like it was definitely not as evolved, just like that little bit of movement, but like they weren't like super high res and crazy things happening. They were a little more simple. I actually was really enjoying the look.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was kind of weird for me. Like I remember every moment of this episode pretty vividly, and it was cool to see it again, in front of me. Like it's like, oh yeah, like that's how that happened. This
It
is
was a
when that
hot
happened.
product too, man. I definitely miss that.
Yeah, they were red hot. They were the alternative, WWE wasn't doing that great, with stories, right?
Oh god, 2019 was awful. Like I wasn't watching, but it was like so the Fiend was really big, and I think it was like right around this time, like it was like a couple weeks after they had the Hell in a Cell match with Seth Rollins and Hell in a Cell, right? They're
Yeah,
the
I remember
big
that one.
scary end all be all. It ended in a DQ. The ref DQ'd Seth Rollins because he kept hitting him with hammers, and he was like, "Oh no, no, no!" And then
Yeah, the
Brian Alvarez had a
toolbox. I remember that. Bang, bang.
yeah.
Yeah. Was it a
And then
DQ or it was just like a no contest?
I think it was a no contest actually. And then the Fiend got up and then beat him up again. And then like right after that, Baron Corbin covered Roman Reigns in dog food, and like he came out in a dog mascot outfit because he was the big dog. It was a bad time. I wasn't even watching it. This was right around the time when Kofi lost the WWE title in 8 seconds. Like there's so many things that are bad about this time. The Cain Velasquez match was right around this time. Like all these things. So yeah, this AEW product was pretty good. It's pretty dang good.
Yeah. So let's see. It was like what 18 years since wrestling had been on TNT. Last episode of WCW. The first match we had was just Cody versus Sammy Guevara. Before the match, they had a pretty cool little Cody and Sammy Guevara video package. Aubrey Edwards was the very first referee on the very first Dynamite. That was pretty cool. In the video package, Cody says Sammy is full of potential and he doesn't want to get embarrassed. Sammy says he is the best ever. Ooh, what a claim.
I mean, Cody beat him, so that means he's the best ever. We've already known Cody's the best wrestler in the world for years, so I don't know why Sammy Guevara's gonna say this. It's like we've known.
With you being such a Cody fan, what made you not want to jump on the AEW bandwagon from the get-go?
I just wasn't into wrestling. Like I just was. I think WWE just had a really shit run, and I went from watching Raw and SmackDown every week and every single pay-per-view, and there's at least one thing on the pay-per-view I would latch on and say was good. I'll only watch pay-per-view if I'm interested. I'll skip the Raws and SmackDowns, and then I'm only watching Mania and Rumble. And then there was a while I wasn't even watching Mania and Rumble. I just wasn't watching anything. So I followed Cody on Twitter, and so I remember hearing he got the Jericho stuff where he could never win the title. I remember seeing him getting lashed. I remember seeing the big moonsault from the top of the cage. So I saw a lot of Cody's big moments, but I never watched AEW just because I was just so disinterested in wrestling. But I probably should have. I would have loved it.
Yeah, just curious why you didn't jump on from the get-go. I just love WCW, as we've talked about before. I've always been pretty anti WWF. back in the day, the Monday Night Wars. I would hear things and see little clips about how terrible former WCW talent were treated in the WWE. That left a bad taste in my mouth. And I just like was yearning for some wrestling that I could watch every week. And it just was like too nostalgic for me. Like, oh, TNT, WCW was on TNT. Tony Schiavone, he was in WCW. Like, it was too perfect for me. Like, to reignite that spark. I didn't watch Double or Nothing, but I watched Fight for the Fallen, Fighter Fest, and then the first episode of Dynamite. So, yeah, I've been hooked ever since. I value it as a alternative to WWE. I know WWE is hot right now. I cannot deny that. And I'm not going to hate on them. Like, just because they're doing so good, like, I'm going to give them their dues. Like, they've earned it. They've got great stories. Triple H is doing good, running it. Vince McMahon is out of there. I can't deny it. I'm not going to just be like, ugh, WWE sucks. Well, do you watch it? No.
It's okay, Dave. I'll say it. WWE sucks. I'm kidding. I've actually watched. I watched Penta versus Peter Booch Dune last night on Monday Night Raw. That was pretty good. Just throwing that out there. I'm not super jazzed about WWE right now, but I think the best thing right now going on is probably Penta or Cody and Kevin. I think those are like the most interesting things going on. CM Punk buried Hulk Hogan. Sorry, I keep remembering things.
I was just watching that before we started.
Was it a tweet or was it on Raw?
It was on air. They were doing, I think it was when they're doing commercial breaks. If you don't have commercials, you get to see them do interviews with the wrestlers in the crowd. So they did well when CM Punk, and he was like, "Oh, I beat Seth Rollins, and he was favored to win the Rumble this year. And then you put Hulk Hogan in the Rumble, I'll throw his dusty ass over the ring, and I'll kill Hulkamania once and for all." It's great. So they got to put Hulk Hogan in so CM Punk can do that. Kidding. They would never do that, but it would be funny.
Oh, man. Cool. Yeah. Fuck Hulk Hogan.
Oh, well, I got a surprise for Dyna Nitro that we'll be doing.
Dang. Weird. I can't imagine he was on it.
He was.
It must have been right before Bash at the Beach, where he quit.
So let me see. It
Bash
took
at the
place.
Beach 2000 is when he walked out.
This was 1995. No, I went back to the first Nitro.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
Yeah, we go all the way back. We're at the first Nitro.
I know all about that. Mall of America, Lex Luger, Thunder Jushin Liger, Brian Pillman for the first match. That's cool. I like that a lot. But yeah, fuck Hulk Hogan. Let's see here. Anyway, back to the first match here. Cody and Sammy. Obviously, Cody ends up beating Sammy Guevara. Cody's with Brandy Rhodes. A couple cool things that happened. Cody toped Brandy by accident. I laughed my ass off. Sammy did a really cool, like, he attempted a moonsault, landed on his feet, missed. Then he did another one, missed, and then he like turned around and nailed the third one. It was just like boom, 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 like real quick succession. Really cool looking. Yeah, he looked good. He looked good in this match. After the match, Tony Schiavone was trying to interview Cody. Cody with his fucking cry face. I hate his cry face, dude.
It's just so emotional. This is the first Dynamite, man.
Him and Tony Schiavone hug. Sammy Guevara walks up and pushes Cody and then goes to shake his hand, but it's all a ploy. Jericho comes up and attacks Cody. The fans are cheering Jericho.
That was weird. Like, they were over for Jericho.
Yeah. Yep. Very bizarre. He hits Cody with the world title. He grabs the camera and does some selfies with it. I like that. He power bombs Cody on 2 chairs. And yeah, that was the very first AEW Dynamite match. What do you all think of it?
It was fun. I think stylistically it's pretty similar to what we see now. It's just still, quicker, more hard hitting, fun. But it was. I liked how it started like in media res. Like they didn't do a whole ton of backstory. It was just like, hey, there's a bit of story. These two are fighting because of this. Let's go. Like it really just jumped in. Like there wasn't a ton of video packages or nothing to sort of set anything up. It just felt like, all right, let's go. Like it could have not been a first episode and you wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah. It's like they knew that all people really just want to see some good wrestling on TV right now. So let's just go balls to the wall. We'll have 5 good matches out there. We'll call it a day, baby. But yeah, I thought this was a really good first match for Dynamite. This is my second ever Cody match in AEW, so that was pretty fun to watch. I thought Sammy Guevara looked pretty good out there, and I liked how Cody made him look strong. I loved that Spanish fly from the top rope. Ooh, that looks scary. And that's not a move I typically like, but like only Osprey and Sammy Guevara can do them well. So
hey,
kudos
Logan
to
Paul's
him.
got a pretty. Oh wait,
Who? Hogan Paul. And then I liked the ending where I don't always like roll ups, but I thought it was nice because in like a Cody way, it like made Sammy Guevara look good. It's like, oh, he couldn't just beat him outright. He had to use a pitting predicament on him. So I thought it was a fun little match to start the whole program off.
Yeah. I did notice also right off the bat the like production wise, like quick cuts. Like it was like 4 seconds, boom, 4 seconds, boom. Like it was, I timed it for a while. And like when, they would stop cutting the camera to another angle when like they really wanted to show something, but it was like a little too quick for me. Uh, it reminded me of what you were talking about with,
Kevin Dunn.
yeah, I was
It
like,
was.
oh,
It wasn't
4 seconds would have been a long shot for that guy.
Yeah, 4 seconds was like, whoa, crazy for him. So yeah, I think that's why I didn't really notice it. Like it might have cut a bit more than the Dynamites do now, but it wasn't noticeably bad or in any way for me.
yeah, it was just different, not necessarily bad. But cool, yeah. After that, we get Brandon Cutler, the
JR
Young Bucks childhood friend.
JR was so funny on commentary because he was like, now just because Brandon Cutler is friends with the Bucks, that doesn't mean anything. That just got him through the door. He's got to show his worth day in and day out to prove that he belongs here. And I was like, oh, that's so funny. And this was before I knew he was wrestling. And I was like, oh man, Brandon Cutler is such an important person in AEW right now. And then MJF came out, and I was like, oh, oh, who's bigger? The guy who main evented All In and had great feuds with CM Punk and Cody and just some of the biggest stars, or MJF? Who's bigger?
Yeah, Brandon Cutler versus MJF, baby MJF, man. But he is the exact same character
He's still doing the same shtick. I thought
to a T.
his entrance was weird. It's like it was longer and it took longer to get to the beat drop. Boy, am I glad they changed that.
Right?
It's just like I'm waiting, and like the crowd kind of died, and then it went butter, and then it dropped, and then they were like, okay, we'll get back into this.
His theme is a YouTube stock song, right?
That's funny.
Yeah. So yeah, they tweaked it after like, I don't know, half a year or something. But yeah, MJF beats Brandon Cutler. No surprise there. Cutler slips on the top rope. It's kind of a botch there. MJF wins with the salt of the earth. Nothing really to it. Cutler really got barely any offense and the match was short. It almost seemed like they like just went home like a little early after that botch to me.
Yeah, I don't know. This was definitely the 5th best match on the card.
Out of 5.
Yeah. I literally don't have anything to say other than it was really funny hearing JR glazing Brandon Cutler.
Yeah.
And of course they got to, right? Because like it's your first episode. Of course you hope everyone becomes a super duper star. But this is the beauty of hindsight. And I never watched AEW back then. So it's like, oh, that's so funny that MJF and Brandon Cutler were on the same level. Not really, because MJF beat him really easily, but like in terms of stuff done.
Yeah, no, second match on your first show, like that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, it is like because I let it roll into the next episode too, and MGF had a bit of a face turn on that episode. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Because he just sided with Cody against the Inner Circle and kind of entered into Cody Island version 1.0.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Chad, with you being a D&D guy, how did D&D factor into this match?
Oh yeah, no, that was pretty hilarious too. I forgot about that. Yeah, because they were poking fun at Brandon Cutler, and MJF did so online, and the Joe Manganiello, who'd just been on the cover of Health and Fitness, was like, "What? I'm a D&D guy." It's like, that's fair.
And Excalibur was trying to teach JR how die worked or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, weird seeing Brandon Cutler wrestle. He hasn't wrestled in like what, 3 years or something?
I think the last thing he did, it was when the Elite were on TV, and like early into their run, like he would be their bitch boy. He was their Christopher Daniels. Like he would just send him out there and then a face would beat him up. And like I remember Darby Allin beat him up a couple times. So
yeah,
at least he's still getting paid. I'm sure he's like a producer or something. Like I'm sure he's got valuable insight to the AEW product.
Yeah, no, that
it's
was
just not being on screen.
BTE when I used to watch that religiously too. Their the Elite's like online show. He was known as Brandon 2 contracts because he had a producer contract and a wrestler contract.
That's funny.
Then I think at one point he got up to 3 contracts for some reason.
Ring of Honor, baby.
All right. Cool. Yeah. After that, we got Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes being interviewed by Chris Van Vliet.
Mm-hmm.
Front row, but they're interrupted by Jack Evans and Angelico.
I had no idea who these two were. I was like,
too.
No, yeah.
Do you remember? I mean, Angelico is kind of around still.
Yeah, I've heard the name Angelico, but like they showed up and I was like, okay, I have no idea. And I was like, oh my god, it's Private Party.
Yep. Oh my god, is that Private Party?
Literally.
Oh,
I love it. Like Pac, he's gonna be relevant later.
Yeah. So yeah, Private Party save Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes. Then we get a SCU kind of skit thing. They're in front of the White House. Scorpio Sky is pretending to be Obama. Daniels and Kazarian are pretending to be Secret Service, and it's the worst town I've ever been in. That was their gimmick back then. Yeah, man, I miss SCU. That was freaking fun. And Kazarian and Scorpio actually won the very first or the tournament for the tag titles.
Yeah.
Can you believe the first time I watched Scorpio Sky is going back to the first one and not like now after they've teased him to come back. Remember that? Remember when they were teasing him? We were like, oh, he's going to be in the learning tree. When did that happen? Poor Scorpio's guy. I feel like that he's going to be another guy who's going to have a lot of good shoot podcasts when this is all over.
Yeah. Think of all the books that are going to be written in like 15 years.
Yeah.
I'm going to read them all. But let's see. Then we cut to SCU on the stage. Scorpio wants to let Daniels and Kazarian be in the tag tournament. They're interrupted by Ray Fenix and Pentagon Jr. They all brawl and they get broke up. And it was funny to me, like there were 3 people at SCU, but only 2 Lucha Brothers. How did that brawl look so even?
Because they're the Lucha Brothers, man. They're crazy. They're just that good.
Yeah, they are. They are. Guantanamo Bay heard.
Come on,
then we get
funny.
yeah, it is. Then we get a match that was supposed to be at Double or Nothing. We finally got to have it here on the first Dynamite. Hangman Adam Page versus Pac.
Why didn't it happen on the first Double or Nothing?
I cannot remember. Either Pac had an injury or he had so many visa issues. Like that kind of maybe seems like that's what it was. But strangely enough, Earl Hebner was the ref for this match. That was wild. So yeah, Page was in control for quite a while. Then Pac gets the upper hand, does a really cool springboard moonsault and a 450. Somehow Page kicks out of that. Page does his avalanche fall away slam, but Excalibur calls it a blockbuster. Wrong move, bro. They show Conrad Thompson in the front row. Tony Schiavone was like, "Oh, it's hard to miss him." I fucking laughed at that. Then we get a really nice zoomed out shot of the crowd, like a full arena, like it was like a WWE-esque, like
I was
zoom out.
I was like actually stunned by how big that, like JR said 14,000 people were stuffed into it.
Sold out.
That's bigger than some pay-per-views they do these days. These pay-per-views, they only get to like 10,000. And I'm saying that like, oh, they only get, but like I'm saying is like, holy shit, they outdid it on their first Dynamite. Like, how hot was this? It sold out in 30 minutes.
Yeah, no, and it was a live crowd. Like they were, it had like Attitude Era vibes. Like they were up screaming the whole time. It was great.
Yeah, no match really died except for they got a little quiet for Brandon Cutler and MJF, but then they got back into it at the end. But every other match, they were going crazy for.
And when they showed that shot, all I could think was like Vince McMahon being like, "Oh shit."
I don't think he cared. I will say, so you want to see do you want to see what Wikipedia has to say about the Pac and Hangman match? Because it doesn't say anything about visa issues.
Okay.
So in late May, it was reported that the match was canceled and would no longer take place due to creative differences. As a result, as a cancellation, they wrestled a match at WrestleGate Pro a week before Double or Nothing. In a surprise appearance, Page answered an open challenge by Pac that ended in disqualification with Page winning. After the match, Pac attacked Page's knee and said that his goal all along was to injure Page, and with that done, he had no reason to show up at Double or Nothing. This was done to write the match off the card. And then on Being the Elite, Hangman was selling the knee injury and said he could not wrestle at Double or Nothing. So maybe it was just visa issues, and that's the kayfabe reason. Like, I don't know. That seems like a weird thing. And they just didn't want to admit that it was visa issues.
Yeah. Wrestling's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sure is. Page goes for a buckshot lariat, but Pac rolls out. Page hits Pac with a top rope moonsault onto the floor. Page doesn't really do that often anymore, does he, Chad?
No.
Like, he used to do that every match. Every match, Page would do that moonsault.
He's too angry now. No, you can't hit a moonsault when you're angry.
Yeah,
he's always angry.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's more of a face move than a crazy heel move.
Yeah,
I used to love it when he did that. So yeah, I like that a lot. Pac ends up low blowing Page, and not only does he hit a black arrow, but he goes immediately into the brutalizer for the win. Loved it. Holy shit. The black arrow is like crazy. What a move. Like and I used to love it when he would go right into the brutalizer, because how are you gonna, get out of that?
Yeah, I thought Pac looked more like, and I'm saying this in a good way, I thought he looked more unruly and crazy in 2019. Like that's where it's like, oh, that's a bastard man right there. Yeah. Like, he's gonna mess you up. And now it's like I'm looking at the Dynamite Knoxville, and like he's doing like a big wide eyes, like spooky face, but I just don't. It's not the same. Yeah. Maybe it's just because his hair is wet and it's all straight, but like his beard was like mangled and like all patchy and going in like, and it's like, oh, this guy's crazy. He doesn't even care about his beard. So I don't know, just a weird thing that I noticed, but it was and then because I've been used to at least like strong and sturdy Hangman, not always angry Hangman, but like strong. And so it's crazy to see young, plucky babyface.
Yeah.
Adam Page.
Yeah, the anxious millennial cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was great. It really loved the match. This was probably my second favorite match of the night. Followed by the Women's World Championship match. Yeah, what do you think of it, Chad?
Oh, yet again, that was I think the order of my matches is the same too. Unfortunately, the Bucks was a little schmozzy at the end, so I didn't really count that. But like, just from a pure wrestling, like, hey, I haven't watched wrestling in a hot minute. I turned this on and I was like, oh, this is why I'm tuning in. Like, that it was just good, solid wrestling. Like, middle of the show, like, it kept me interested. It kept me wanting to go see what was coming next. And it was good action. And like Chandler was saying, how the evolution, like I said, I had to scratch my head, like, oh, what they used to call me, anxious millennial cowboy, and that was him. It was it's really kind of neat to go back and see, like, specifically how Hangman evolved, because I feel like his arcs always made sense. But no, the wrestling itself is
if you went back to the first episode of Dynamite and you told everyone watching it, hey, in 5 years Hangman Page is gonna burn a guy's house down in a feud and he's going to be the bad guy, you're like, no way, that's crazy. And then you're like, oh, wow, that makes sense. They built it perfectly.
Yeah.
And I know they were trying to ham up the whole wins and loss record, but they made a point to say Page is now 0-2 in AEW, and like that kind of like made me think like, oh, his like struggle and his story of like feeling like a loser and trying to get back and losing, and like this is the beginning of him like being that character.
Yeah.
0-2, the reverse Dustin streak.
Nice.
Yep.
And then in the next episode, Pac was on commentary and he almost had the exact opposite to say, which is he at that time had the best record in there, and he wasn't the number one contender for the belt. And why is he sitting on commentary? He should be out there being given the chances. And it was like, oh, see, they were really pushing that at the beginning, and it was actually gave it more of a sports feel.
Yeah, it's just it would never work now. I part of me wish it would. Joe brought it back, but
I don't know. I loved the rankings last year. With like, I think why I'm so critical and negative about AEW right now is because AEW at the beginning of the year was really fun. Like I know it wasn't great at the beginning, but eventually Sting and the Young Bucks was really fun on the build to Revolution. And then I loved Swerve and Hangman leading up to the triple threat with Joe. And then you had Joe and Hook in there. Like, it was a really fun build.
True.
So it's just hard to look at it and be like, So it felt like they were hamming it up because it was like a jab at WWE, because WWE wins and losses didn't matter, especially at that time. So they were like, "Oh, we matter, we care." So, but it's not a bad thing. I like that. I like the rankings. I wish they brought them back
and stuck to them.
I know, God. Yeah. That was so annoying when I would be like, "Oh, remember when this guy was at the rankings? Why isn't he getting a title shot?" Remember when Monet just skipped the rankings?
Yeah.
And that's I should have known. I should have known.
Didn't Punk push for them to go away? Wasn't that how that? And Tony Khan was just like, okay.
Supposedly, I think that's like the dirt sheets rumor is something like that. I don't know if it's ever been confirmed by either man.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it was cool seeing Pac and Hangman Page. I love that they're still there. Hopefully they retire in there, because they're pretty important, members of the AEW roster. I can't see. I don't know. Apparently WWE right now is like really wanting AEW stars. So maybe they'd be treated good, but I don't know, man. I think Paige is pretty loyal. Same with Pac. I'm sure Tony Khan has worked with Pac on so many different levels about, I can't get out of the country or whatever, and I feel like Tony Khan's built some loyalty to some of the talent. Like, not everyone, but he's really gone above and beyond for people. But then you hear stories of him, you know, with Ray Phoenix not helping him get a doctor, but
yeah. Unfortunately, we don't know the whole story with any of that, but yeah, it would be nice to assume that he's got some loyalty with some wrestlers. I think we can see it with like Jericho and Moxley. And I'm not saying that it's like a ooh sucks, but like he does trust those guys. I think it's just because they have big name value. So I hope that he'll start trusting more people like that young guy Swerveland Strickland. I think he could trust him. I think he could trust that hanger Adam Page. That Ricky had a good show on this first episode. I wish that he would kind of rely on more guys,
Yeah.
I did see that Swerve is going to be at Defy.
Yeah, that's cool.
I was like, man, I almost kind of want to go to that, but probably won't. But yeah, anyway, on to our finals match for the AEW Women's World Championship. We got Britt Baker on commentary, which she wasn't that good. It was bad.
Well, have
really
you heard
bad.
the rumors about Britt Baker?
Yeah, sideline possibly
have.
leaving.
Yeah,
And then other reports are like it's being blown way out of proportion. So
well, it's just one of those things where she hasn't come back, and the last time she was on TV was her just telling Serena Deeb nobody cares, and then like the whole MJF thing, like it's just kind of weird.
Yeah, apparently she doesn't get along with people in the locker room. Like, I mean, if she's like that, it might be for the best for her not to be around, right?
Yeah, who knows?
Her last little like half-assed run really didn't do it for me anyway. Her in-ring ability like was super lacking, clunky, like ring rust. Yeah, I didn't feel it.
Yeah, it was a flash in the pan. She got hot for a minute and then kind of didn't really capitalize.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we got Riho versus Nyla Rose. Nyla Rose is from Washington, D.C., so this is her hometown. Let's see. Yeah, it was a good match. Really good. It took a little bit to heat up for me, but maybe the last half it really started to pick up all these like big moves that Nyla Rose did to Riho, and then her kicking out of it really got the crowd pumped. Nyla hits her really awesome guillotine knee drop from the top rope. I love that move so much. Does anyone do that in WWE?
I
Like a
don't,
known?
not off the top of my head. I don't think so.
Yeah, that's really the only person I've ever seen do that move. But yeah, Riho kicks out of that. Uh, at one point though, Nyla gets Riho in like an STF. Riho appears to pass out. Did you
Yeah,
guys catch that?
Yeah.
that
And
was
then Nyla
odd.
just let go. Like it was like, what's happening?
I thought the ref made her stop, which was even worse because it was like, oh, Nyla just won. But I guess not. That was probably the worst part of the match because it was like, oh, it's over. She won.
Felt a little clunky.
Yeah, it didn't take me completely out of it, but
how many title matches have we seen this year alone? And like last year too, but like I'm kind of counting that. Just to end with someone choking them out. Like Moxley's been ending all of his moves with that, and Joe ended a couple matches like that. So it's just it's just weird to see.
yeah. But yeah, Riho just keeps kicking out of all these big moves. Especially this really big Death Valley driver that Nyla Rose does to her, just kicking out, kicking out. Riho hits Nyla with double knees for the win. First ever women's AEW World Champion. It was weird. Michael Nakazawa was like her like translator guy, like weird thing.
Sort of interviewed her, sort of translate. It was bizarre.
Yeah, I didn't even know who that
weird.
guy was. I was like, okay, there's a guy now. Cool.
Do you remember Matt Seidel's debut and he slipped? Do you know about that?
Yeah,
Chandler?
he messed up the shooting star press.
And there was a match earlier in the night. So Michael Nakazawa would hide a tiny bottle of baby oil in his trunks, in his crotch. And he'd always pull it out and put it all over himself so like his opponent couldn't grab him. And I like in BTE, they like incorporated that. It was why Matt Seidel slipped, which I think is funny.
That's pretty good.
But yeah, Nyla Rose attacks Michael Nakazawa and kind of botches a power bomb. She got it eventually, and then she goes for Riho, but I remember this being really weird to me. Kenny Omega comes up and tries to stop Nyla Rose, and they like shove each other.
Yeah,
I thought that was weird.
Maybe they were in the beginning. Kenny was like, "Oh, I want to do intergender wrestling," and Tony Khan was like, "Okay." And then if they ever got to a match, he's like, "No."
Yeah.
So
well, yeah, and Kenny was he was the one that put the women's division together. Like that was kind of one of his responsibilities as the EVP, and he trained Rio.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess it was probably the idea, like they have that connection and he wanted to protect her.
Yeah, I could see that. But this was a classic David and Goliath type match. Really back and forth. I quite enjoyed it. I like Nyla Rose a whole lot now, but I'm not a big fan of Riho. But it was nice to see like at least like Riho used to be really good.
Yeah,
she might not be so good now, but there was a time where she was quite talented.
Yeah, definitely amongst the original crop, she was definitely, the upper tier. Like she looked great against Nyla. Like now it's like if you threw her in against like Stat or somebody, it just doesn't feel the same. But
yeah,
like first women's match, like, oh yeah, it actually felt pretty cool. Then the next week would have Britt teaming with what was her name? Bea
Priestley?
Yeah, Bea Priestley against oh shoot.
Melanie Martinez.
Nope.
Diamante.
Nope.
Layla
Good
Hirsch.
old stamp clap.
She
I don't know. I'm out of early AEW names.
Oh god, I can't remember her name.
Right? I can never remember it.
Wait,
Emi
I have
Sakura.
Yeah.
Emi.
Yeah, and I can't remember
That's
who
when
the
you
other
had
one was.
She would wear the fake mustache back then
Yeah,
too.
yeah. She had the whole Freddie Mercury gimmick.
Yep.
Yeah,
Cool.
and Britt did not have it yet either. They're like, there was a small window where she was actually really good, but she had to grow into it. Then she lost it.
Yeah.
What a shame. So yeah, we're at our main event already here. We got the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega versus Jericho, Santana, and Ortiz. Man, and they were known as Proud and Powerful back then. What a shame they never won the titles.
Right?
Damn shame, dude. They were great. I did notice too, like I thought Aubrey Edwards reffed every Jericho match, but she wasn't there for this one. It was Rick Knox.
Weird.
Yeah, I think pretty soon after this, though, Jericho started requesting only her for whatever reason. But yeah, it was weird. Jericho was relevant. He was a main eventer. He was world champion before he went downhill. uh, so Jericho and Kenny are tagged in. Jericho doesn't want to face Kenny, so he tags out. We think we're gonna get to see them fight each other. Jericho gets Omega in the walls, but then the Bucks super kick his head off. Then John Moxley appears and attacks Kenny. Why wasn't this a DQ?
Referee's discretion, man. Come on, bro. They don't want to ruin a main event.
Rick Knox has a rich history of letting it play out.
Yeah, they said until TV time remaining. And it's not like what Moxley did and affected the match at all. It's not like it led to one team winning over the other.
Right.
Come on, Dave. It wasn't that big of a deal.
No. But this is a big moment. Like Moxley showed up at Double or Nothing, but he hadn't been seen since then. So yeah, this is a holy shit moment. They brawl into the crowd, leaving the Young Bucks shorthanded. Kenny and Moxley end up in the VIP area, which was clearly just an entranceway where they put some couches and tables and stuff, which was funny to me. And Moxley straight up gives Kenny a paradigm shift into a glass coffee table.
Real glass, cry me a river.
Cry me a river.
I am crying.
That was cool. That's like a moment that they like put that in every like intro and like all kinds of, you know.
Are you saying that was an AEW moment on Dynamite in Jacksonville?
Tony Khan from Jacksonville.
Tony Khan from Jacksonville.
But yeah, that was great watching that paradigm shift. Yeah, the Bucks are in trouble, 3-on-2. Jericho gives Matt a lion salt, but Matt gets his knees up. I wrote Matthew, and he wasn't even Matthew back then. Matthew gives locomotion Northern Light suplexes to Santana and Ortiz. Jericho hits Matt with a Judas effect for the win. They go to attack the Bucks. Cody runs out to help. Sammy runs in and kicks Cody in the nuts. Dustin Rhodes comes out. Then Jake Hager debuts. Takes out everyone. We get a "We the People" chant.
I think that was the most surprising thing of the night, is there wasn't actually a "We the People" chant, but it's probably because people aren't like, well, he's probably not Jack Swagger, so we shouldn't call him that, but we don't know what to call him, so "We the People."
Yeah, the second episode they would do that thing. Chris Jericho shut it down pretty fast in a pretty witty way. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was funny.
Yeah, I can't remember what he said, but I remember that. Hager gut wrench power bombs Dustin Rhodes onto a table. Not like a normal folding table, but like a weird like wooden built table.
Yeah.
Jericho gives Cody a Judas effect, and the Inner Circle stand tall. Very first AEW Dynamite. And I was so stoked when that ended. Adrenaline
in your soul.
Yep.
Something.
Yeah, it was a pretty good show overall. The main event match itself wasn't great, but the Moxley bit was, like, unironically, I hate saying it, but there's not really a better way of saying it. It was a great moment for AEW, and it meant a lot for the future. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I get why Moxley's been booked so strong. It's just because, like, he's one of their first and biggest stars they got. Like, it's part of the reason why they were so hot in the beginning. Yeah. So yeah, it's no wonder he keeps giving Moxley shots and keeps trying, because Moxley's great when he's great. But the match itself wasn't that great, because this is like my least favorite incarnation of the Bucks, and I haven't been watching them for that long. But like, even when they were wrestling boring matches, quote unquote, I was more entertained because they were at least trying to be entertaining. They just weren't doing flips every 5 seconds. And that's kind of what this felt like. And then what the like kind of sad thing about the Moxley thing was it made Santana and Ortiz like pretty lame in comparison. And I can say that because, again, neither of them are in AEW anymore, right? Yeah. So
no, they never. I always felt like they had potential, but they never really capitalized on it.
Yeah.
And then yet again in the next episode, there was the funny bit where Moxley had a match, and then Kenny came out and he had the barbed wire bat and the barbed wire broom, and he threw the bat to Moxley for him. Then Pac came out off a commentary and blindsided Kenny, and then it was interesting. Like I said, I just kind of kept rolling, like, oh, memories. I kind of miss this stuff.
Damn. Yeah.
Actually, sorry, I lied. Fun. Ortiz is still on the AEW roster. So I lied.
Oddly enough.
What do I know?
I wonder if he's in Ring of Honor doing stuff or just getting paid.
Getting paid, I guess. I mean, you want to talk about people getting paid. Nick Colorado's still on there.
Yeah.
Miro still on there. Michael Nakazawa's still on there.
Ricky Starks.
Funny Ricky Starks. Where is he? Where's that guy?
Wardlow.
Oh yeah, there's Wardlow. There's Trent Barretta's injured, so he gets a pass. Sting is on their roster page still, which I find a little odd because he retired. He's on the 2019 Pretty Peter Avalon. Yeah.
I miss him. What was his faction called? The Wingmen.
Yeah.
Right? It was him, Ryan Nemeth, JD.
Yeah.
This is JD, what's his fucking name?
JD McDonough?
the workhorseman.
JD Drake.
Yeah, JD Drake and Cesar Bononi.
I've never heard that name before in my life.
Yeah, he was there for a while. That was a cool little faction. I liked when they were doing stuff. It was an AEW Dark faction.
Totally.
Sounds like it, unfortunately. Not to be too mean, but yeah, so it's weird looking at the 2019 AEW roster page and seeing all the little names And then looking at this and seeing Kazuchika Okada, Will Ospreay, Cope, Bobby Lashley, like all these bigger names. It's just funny to see.
Yeah, for sure. I miss man, oh man, I'm bad with some of these names. Joey Janela. I like Joey Janela a lot, but he got non-renewed, I guess.
Yeah. Is he kind of a grifter now, or is he just kind of doing his own thing?
I think he's like in GCW or something, or
they're on a roll right now.
Yeah. PCO had a moment.
That was a GCW moment.
Yeah, that was a shoot too. Not a work.
Wrestling's back, baby.
Yeah. I can see him going to AEW. I've never really watched a PCO match that I can remember.
I don't think
But
Tony Khan would want someone like that on his roster. I mean, if
Ring of Honor.
If he's not putting Dijak on Ring of Honor, why is he not putting PCO on Ring of Honor? You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, I'm looking at Dynamite for this week. Was that what you were about to ask, Dave?
Yeah. What do we got coming up?
I'm not super stoked. There's one thing I'm looking forward to. Can you guess what it is? So first off, we have Jamie Hayter versus Julia Hart 2. I think that'll be fine.
Oh wow, cool.
Samoa Joe and Nick Wayne.
Ooh.
Private Party and Hurt Syndicate for the tag team titles. Which I just
are we getting a title change on free TV?
I got a bad feeling about that, man. Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega face to face? Okay, are they feuding now?
Yeah.
They're gonna form the Mega Powers.
I don't want a tag team. No tag teams for Kenny Omega in 2025. You could do it 2026, okay? You can tag team all year long in 2026, but like, give me 1 year of singles. And then Cope and Pack in the main event, I'm assuming.
You're looking forward to Samoa Joe.
Yeah, I think that'll be fun. And then again, a year ago, I would be looking forward to Adam Copeland versus Pac, but I am not looking forward to Cope and Pac. I want that to be very clear that even 6 months ago, right before he got injured, Adam Copeland versus Pac for the TNT title would have cooked. Now I don't want to see it because it's the Death Riders and Cope and and then I just have a bad feeling that Private Party are going to lose, which is just kind of sad. And then Hart and Hayter, I think, will be fine. But the more important one, Collision, baby. Oh, it's a barn burner this week. Are you ready? So I don't have a good feeling about the Grand Slam Australia match anymore because that's the Mariah May and Toni Storm face-to-face. So... and then Gates of Agony versus Brody King and Buddy Matthews. No reason. They're not in any House of Black. It's just Brody King and Buddy Matthews.
Did you hear about their new trademark?
It was Cerberus and
the Hounds of Hell.
The Hounds of Hell, which it's fine. I guess they got to rebrand again. I like the House of Buddy. It's a lot more palatable. And then so Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong, the Undisputed Era, baby, versus Daniel Garcia, Daddy Magic, and I think the return of
Angelo Parker.
Yep.
Cool. I actually kind of like that.
Oh, I thought that was like the most skippable Collision ever. I thought last week was skippable. At least Okada was there.
True.
But unless we have something else we want to do, is it time for the first ever
WCW Monday Nitro?
Nitro, baby. Where we compare whatever Dynamite we're on we compare it to the episode of Nitro. We typically do that because we're about to have Dynamite past Nitro, but I just figured I'd pull it up for funsies and look at it. So the dark non-title tag team match. And by the way, I want this to be very clear. Most of the time when I look at a Nitro now or later, the ranking is like a 4. This is like 7.3. That's pretty good. Anyways, the dark non-title tag team match. American males of Marcus Alexander Bagwell and Scotty Riggs defeat the Stud Stable, Bunkhouse Buck, and Dick Slater.
Okay.
Oh boy. And then next up, the first match of Nitro. It's a singles match. They actually mentioned this on Dynamite. Flying Brian, which is Brian Pillman, defeats Jushin Thunder Liger. How long did it go?
5 minutes, 4 seconds.
7 minutes.
6:52. Dave was close.
Ooh.
Next up for the WCW United States Heavyweight Title match, Sting, the champion, versus Ric Flair, ended in a no contest. How long did this one go?
49 seconds.
1 minute, 9 seconds.
8 minutes and 43 seconds. Yeah.
Wow.
What are we
towards the end of Nitro, that would have been 6 matches.
No, here's what's funny, right? Is there's only 3 matches. So I'm about to hit the main event. So that's why that one went so long. It was a lot of time. WCW World Heavyweight Title match. Hulk Hogan with Jimmy Hart. What a popular duo. Hogan was the champ. Defeats Big Bubba Rogers. Who? How long did it go?
6:12.
1 minute, 9 seconds.
7:08.
Damn.
Iron Man matches.
And we had the big debut of Lex Luger wearing a white blouse.
I remember that. Wasn't that like he was on a pay-per-view the night before or a house show the night before and then flew out to... That's pretty cool. Yeah. It's a pretty good bit. You know what's kind of crazy about this? There's actually Wrestling Observer News Raters star ratings for these matches.
Nice.
Any guesses? How many stars did Hulk Hogan and Big Bubba Rogers get?
3.5.
1.25.
2.25.
Oh.
Not a popular. The best match on the show was Brian Pillman and Jushin Thunder Liger. That was 3.5 stars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a good match.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, it was only an hour, I guess.
Oh, really? That makes sense.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yep, I remember all the people like up on the upper level at the mall, like watching it, and it was for free too. Like anyone could just come in and like watch it.
That's kick ass.
Yeah. I was hoping Tony Khan would do a Mall of America,
right?
Dynamite at some point.
That'd be cool. The problem is they'd have to go at Dynamite without making ticket sales. But I feel like if you're in a mall, you'll go crazy on merch, especially if like you're there and you're like, here's Will Ospreay. Would you like a shirt of Will Ospreay? Like, come on, wouldn't that do well?
Yeah.
Yep. Dude, I hear they're already selling Penta masks in AEW or WWE.
That got leaked before the match started.
Yeah.
Like that came out 12 hours before his debut match.
Why wouldn't AEW do that? It's so stupid.
I don't know. Hey, at least they did hologram masks, but apparently he's injured. That's why he hasn't been around. I just found that out, which is unfortunate. Yep. Hopefully he gets better soon.
He got injured in the Wrestle Dream match against Mortos.
That makes sense. It sucks, but that makes sense.
Yep. Yeah. We need he needs to put out Harley Graham material now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, shit, that was pretty cool watching that.
Yeah.
It flew by, and I like how on Max. Well, how did you watch this? Not on Max,
Me?
Chandler?
Trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can just go back. I can go back and watch any Dynamite.
No shit. I did not know that.
I didn't know that either until I tried. You just have to have NordVPN or a VPN and change your location. And you have to.
God.
So you have to pay. You have to pay for the NordVPN, and you have to pay for the AEW Plus Triller. But it's only like $5 or $10 a month. So it's not that bad. Yeah, nice. You get Dynamites like an hour or so after they're finished airing. So it's pretty slick.
Okay. I might have to think about that.
Right?
Might be way better than Hulu. Yeah. Well, anyway, cool. Yeah, that was pretty damn fun watching the beginning of Dynamite. Yeah, I loved it. It was a blast from the past. It was a good show. It was neat to see all the people who are still around. And yeah, it kept me entertained.
Yeah.
Yeah. Made me sad for current day. I was like, oh man, there was so much potential here, and I feel like we're not hitting it.
No. Tony Khan needs the booker.
Yeah, he needs something, all right, to kind of split. Because back then, all it was Dynamite and pay-per-view, so it was easy to just like, oh yeah, I just got Dynamite. And I was kind of hoping, like, oh, without Rampage, maybe Collision will get better. Doesn't look like it.
Collision's the new Rampage.
Yeah.
For sure. I'd rather have Dark back than anything.
Yeah.
Give people the chance to get some reps in. Even house shows. They like did that for like what, 3 house shows or something, and they've got one house show that they're like are gonna release one day. You remember that?
Yeah, I've heard that.
With Cody. Cody was in it.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
it's gonna be like the CM Punk All-In footage all over again.
Yep. Cool. All right, gentlemen. I think we talked about all we can talk about, and everyone out there, don't you forget to elbow drop that like button, power bomb that subscribe button, and please leave a comment. We want to know what you're thinking about.
Who's Big Boom AJ's big return opponent gonna be, and why is it Chris Jericho? Let us know down in the comments down below.
Please don't be Jericho.
You can tell he's like, hi guys, I would love to work with the chocolate guy. Hi guys, I like Costco. Hi guys, I'm relevant. Do you see they have a shirt for Jericho and it literally just says I heart Chris Jericho? Why, like, AEW's selling that? Like, why? Why would you do that? Who's buying it? Like, even ironically, who's buying it?
I did like the AEW is Jericho shirt.
Is just that for recent or is that old?
No, that's like 2019.
Well, that's fine because
just for nostalgia.
Yeah, like I'm not saying it's just like, why would you buy a shirt? Why would you release and buy a shirt like that now? You know?
Yeah. Oh, anyway, thank you, gentlemen, for joining. That was a fun retro view we did there.
Yeah.
Thanks for hosting.
Fun little trip down memory lane.
Yeah. And if I'm correct, we're going to be doing WrestleMania 3, Hogan Andre. The power slam heard around the world.
Isn't this like, again, this is why I kind of just take old Melty Boy's opinion with a grain of salt. Isn't this like a negative 3-star match according to him?
It was pretty bad.
I don't remember. It was a different time.
Mm-hmm. It's a negative 4-star, and he said it was the worst worked match of the year.
Oh my God. Well, we should have fun. I wonder, does it say how long it is?
5 minutes, 4 seconds. Oh, wait, we're not playing that game anymore.
I'll just go to cage match real quick. Stay with us, folks. Stay with us, folks. Stay with us, folks.
Yeah. That match was a big deal for a lot of people. Those are like a lot of people like got into wrestling because of that match.
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, Hogan and Rock is like a 2-star match or something crazy like that. So
yeah, that's my favorite wrestling match ever.
Yeah. So again, Tony Storm and Mariah May was like 3 1/4. Like he's just biased. And Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant was 12 minutes long.
Okay. All right. Well, cool. I think that just about does it.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for joining. Don't forget again, leave a comment. We want to hear from you.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm gonna do the bye-bye thing.
Do the bye-bye thing. Do the bye-bye thing. Do.
What was the freaking chant that they were doing for Danielson that was like a lot of words?
Oh, it was like he's gonna kick his head in. He's gonna
kick his fucking head in or something.
Yeah, I think it was he's gonna kick his fucking head in. Because I remember like watching a review for Wrestle Dream and people were like, the crowd was really cool because they did a Ring of Honor chant. I was like, I was cool because I joined in on a chant. Yay!
Yay!
I just did a thing with the crowd and now I'm cool.
Yeah. Yep. Collectively cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. I wanted to remember what that was. But yeah, thank you everybody, and have a good day and or night and or week and or month. Bye.
Cheerio, Pip Pip.
Bye, guys.